Are you thinking of moving to the Ann Arbor area? Our neighborhood tours will show you some great places and give you some ideas and different price points, what we see in the Ann Arbor area. Of course, there's much more to the community than just the houses. That's why it's consistently rated one of the most desirable places in the country to live. We'll talk about those things too. I am a townie. I grew up in Ann Arbor from kindergarten through a bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan. So you're going to get the straight story from a true native. If you stay until the end, I'll tell you about the best kept secret of this side of town that you don't want to miss. So let's get started. For today's adventure, we're going to be looking at two neighborhoods on the west side of Ann Arbor. So starting out with our map here, you can see Ann Arbor is surrounded on three sides by highways. That makes it super convenient to jump on the highway, and you can be at the Detroit Metropolitan International Airport in about 30 minutes on the east end. Run up northeast, you can be in Oakland County, where there are lots of tech employers and automotive companies. You can go up the northwest direction and be in the Michigan's capital, Lansing, in about an hour. Or if you want to head out 94 west and then south, you can hit Chicago in about 5 hours of drive time. So it's a really convenient location, Ann Arbor in the Midwest. We're going to be looking at two neighborhoods over in what we refer to as the far west side of Ann Arbor. Now, the Ann Arbor city boundary is actually kind of around this area, but we're going to be looking out here farther west. There's a neighborhood called Country French Estates here and another one called Liberty Hills over here. Those are outside the city of Ann Arbor, but they're still referred to as Ann Arbor because they feed into the Ann Arbor school system and their Ann Arbor mailing addresses. So the first neighborhood we'll check out is called Country French Estates here. That neighborhood is newer, less than 30 years old. The second neighborhood we'll look at, Liberty Hills, is quite a bit different in that it was built in the 60s and 70s. So older homes, different kind of situation there. When Country French Estates was built, that developer had access to city water and sewer. When Liberty Hills was built, there was no water and sewer available, so each of those homes have their own on-site water source, that's a well, and then sewage system, which is a septic tank and a septic field. So let's kind of get started and zoom in then on our Country French Estates. This is the entry of Country French Estates. You'll see there's a little gatehouse there. It's just for show. There's never actually been a gate there. The neighborhood was developed and built by a company called Delcor. Delcor built a number of communities in our market, including another one in Ann Arbor, one about 25 minutes north in an area called Brighton, and one about 20 minutes south of Ann Arbor in a town called Milan. There are sidewalks here, but they are only on one side of the street, so we don't see them in some parts of the video. The architectural intent was to make you feel like you were in a quaint European town with narrow streets and old world architecture. The homes, as you see, have some interesting and intricate exteriors, and I call them whimsical finishes, like the brickwork here, and unique shutters and steep roof pitches, a lot of side entry garages, but look at that brickwork. It's very, very interesting, very unique. There's also a walking trail and a neighborhood park where community events are held. If you're involved in manufacturing, engineering, or supply chains, you might find it interesting that Delcor was the first home building company in the country to attain the ISO 9000 certification in the late 1990s. So these homes were built between about 1998 and 2003, and they vary in size from about 1,700 square feet to 3,100 square feet. Today, they're priced in the upper 400s to upper $600,000 range. The insides of these homes there are a lot of vaulted ceilings and tall windows, a lot of transom windows and high shelves over bedroom closets. So we'll start looking at the interior here. We're looking at a interior of the 1.5-story plan. There's actually a primary bedroom up on the second floor, 2 bedrooms on the entry floor. But as we look at this arrangement in the living room and you think about standing up on top of the stairs there and looking down, then, and this is actually, it's a different house, but the same floor plan. You look down to your right, you're looking into the living room there with a fireplace when you see the front door and of course the cathedral ceilings. And then if you look to the left, you're looking down over the dining area, kind of a family room with a door wall that goes out to the deck in the back, and then you're right over the kitchen. So we're looking down at the kitchen sink and everything. It's kind of a unique plan, and it's just an example of one of the plans that's very interesting in this neighborhood. This next photo shows this is a real large, the 3,100 square foot plan there that has very nice open living room with a big cutout wall looking right into the kitchen. And then the next photo is in the kitchen dining area. You can see the island and very nicely laid out, lots of space. And the high ceilings, you can see the areas over, no soffits, areas open up over the cabinets. It's kind of fun. And then this last image is of a primary bedroom. And here you can see the transom windows. Those are the windows over the doorway entry into the bedroom and the doorway into the primary bathroom. And the closet there in the corner actually does not have a ceiling on it, so that the top of that closet is all open to the cathedral ceiling. We've helped a number of families purchase here, and the homeowners really enjoy the community, the convenience to shopping and restaurants, and the quick commute into downtown Ann Arbor. An interesting story, a couple of years ago we helped a couple buy a home here, and the buyers paid their whole down payment with Bitcoin. That was the first time we'd had that experience. The farmland to the south of this neighborhood is preserved farmland, so we won't need to be concerned that that'll become a shopping center or a parking lot. And that's kind of important because there's a nice walking path between this neighborhood and that farmland back there. Back 15 or 16 years ago, when the mortgage meltdown was happening, it was a buyer's market. We helped the buyer negotiate an amazing purchase on one of these homes. A writer from the Wall Street Journal Online even interviewed us about that transaction. We shared with her the importance of keeping your eyes on inventory and absorption rate during a negotiation. That principle is still important today when we're in a seller's market. As our drive ends up at the entrance fountain, I'll share another interesting bit of neighborhood trivia. If you happen to be here during a sunny day and you look closely, you'll usually see a couple of turtles out sunning themselves on the drain pipe where the water flows into the pond with the two fountains. They look like weathered bronze statues, but if you get close, they will jump back into the water. They are very real. If this is your first time on the channel and you'd like to know more about living in Ann Arbor, subscribe below to be the first to know about the ever-changing market here. I'm John Boyd with the Home Buyers Agent. Our office loves helping people like you make Michigan your home. Our contact information is in the description below, so whether it's going to be 2 weeks or 2 years, feel free to reach out and connect. Okay, moving on to Liberty Hills. Liberty Hills is a neighborhood located about 1 mile southeast of Country French Estates and featuring homes with a similar price range. Both areas are just less than 10 minutes from town. If your destination is on the west side of Ann Arbor, you might drive in on West Liberty. For anywhere else in town, you would jump on the highway. These home values are typically in the upper 400s to upper 600s for the original homes. And there are some newer homes that are nicer and larger, and they might be valued closer to 800,000. However, there are two significant differences between these two neighborhoods. First, most of the homes here were built in the 1960s and 1970s, so these homes have much less architectural style compared to the homes in Country French Estates. Most homes in Liberty Hills are laid out as basic rectangles with 2, 3, or 4 levels, and then there's an attached garage. No high ceilings, no fancy windows, just houses. Second big difference I mentioned earlier is that when this neighborhood was developed, city water and sewer weren't available for the homes. So each home has its own water source, a well, and its own septic system, which includes a septic tank and a septic field. When these homes were built, the sanitary guidelines to have a well and septic system required lots that are about an acre in size to have proper separation between the wells and the septic tanks and septic fields. For reference, an acre is roughly 40,000 square feet. We refer to this as a country home neighborhood, as opposed to a city home neighborhood, where the builder might put 6 homes on an acre of land. Country-sized lots offer 3 benefits. The first is more privacy. In a country home, you might go days without seeing your neighbors, and you don't smell your neighbor's dinner cooking like you often do in a city home. It's also usually quieter unless someone happens to be cutting their grass. The second benefit is that you have more options for things like an addition, having additional parking like for a boat, a recreation vehicle, a trailer, or outbuildings. In contrast, in country French estates, outbuildings of any kind are not allowed. And there are restrictions. So you can see an outbuilding with this house, a blue outbuilding there. Anyway, in country French estates, there are restrictions on parking boats or campers or trailers at your home. You just can't do it. The third benefit of the larger lots is that you have more options for gardening and landscaping if you want a fenced area in your yard or other outdoor activities on your lot. If you want to toss a frisbee around in country French estates, you really need to go to the park. In Liberty Hills, you just walk out onto your own yard. Some of the homeowners here have beautifully manicured yards. Others, as you can see with some of the houses in this video, are perfectly happy with their lawns covered with spring dandelions. Because there's little traffic on these roads, they never have been paved, so they're all still gravel. And there are no sidewalks in this neighborhood. The good news is it's such a quiet area that most people are comfortable just walking right on the road. So there you have it. 2 neighborhoods on the west side of Ann Arbor, similar price ranges, same school system, but very, very different homes. Now for a best kept secret on the far west side of Ann Arbor. How about a small locally owned restaurant serving up the culinary traditions of Tibet, Nepal, India, and Bhutan? There is a place at 5050 Jackson Road, east of Zeeb, called Base Camp, and all the food we've had there has been terrific. And it isn't just tikka masala, matar paneer, and biryani type dishes. They have some great beverages like mango lassi, Himalayan tea, and my favorite, the Nepali chaya. They are closed Mondays, but other days of the week they're open 11 to 2:30 for lunch and 5 to 9 for dinner. So enjoy.